Hello and welcome to the Imagine Crafts YouTube channel. My name is Lynn, or LV Handcrafted, across all the socials, and today I am doing this idea that I had in my head. And you know how sometimes you have ideas that seem really fun and cool, but they don't often pan out? At least that's the case for me. This idea did actually pan out. I'm making a tie-dye background using the Kaleidacolor ink pads. So I've got this, it's actually from, I think, Crafter's Companion, and it's this nice sort of Lazy Susan turntable. It's actually meant for coloring so that instead of, twisting your arm around to color, you can just turn this turntable around. And it makes it easy to get this circular shape because I can just turn the platform or the paper and keep my ink pad in one spot. So check that out. Isn't that cool? So this turned out so well that I wanted to do it in all the Kaleidacolor ink pads that I have. So this one, as it turns out, the one that was my very first shot, was the one that turned out the best. And I think the reason is because I didn't try to get a very solid coverage like I did with the next two. So, for example, this was the rainbow color ink pad that I had. And if you caught that video, because I did show how I made this particular one, I was very minimalistic, I guess, with the ink. And you can see that because it's not as juicy of an ink pad, it wasn't really giving me the same sort of coverage that my first Kaleidacolor ink pad did. So I'm just re-inking it a bit, and that's kind of the nice thing about the making your own Kaleidacolors, because then you can really ink it up as you go. And I actually should have stopped there, but then I went back in a little bit and added more ink. And I think when it starts to get too solid, because I think you want some of the white showing. That's why I didn't actually push the ink pads together. I left them separated. And that sort of is where the rubber band would be. I've actually never made a tie-dye shirt before, but I'm somewhat familiar with the technique of how you do it. And the idea is that you squish together and twist up the t-shirt and you put a rubber band, and that's what's creating the natural color of the t-shirt. So if it's a white t-shirt, it would create those white streaks. But I thought this worked out so well. Had no idea what I would do with it, but they make for great backgrounds. And I think it's such a cool look that I'm gonna try to maximize how much of this I actually use, because it's a little bit peculiar of a size. So I have a 4x6 card base here, and with this first panel, I am aiming to get two backgrounds from it. So they're just going to be partial, like semicircle backgrounds, but that way I can kind of get the most out of it. And then for the next two backgrounds or tie-dye panels I created, I actually pulled out my 6x6 card bases, and I'm gonna make one card from each of those backgrounds. I think 6x6 might be, you could go larger if you want more of a white border all the way around, but I don't have card bases that are larger than that. And generally 6x6, 5x7, those are about the largest size cards that I make. One thing I would say though, if you are making a 6x6 card, you need to send it through the US Postal Service, you will need to add extra postage or buy the stamp that is for non-machinable, because square cards aren't they can't automatically get processed correctly through the machining process of sorting mail. So that's why there's an extra fee for that, because it has to actually be manually sorted. So just bear that in mind if you are making a square card, any size square card, that you might need to put some extra postage on that if you are going to send it through USPS. But I think it's kind of well worth it because this card just looks so cool. I think I was very happy with the results of this, so I'm definitely excited to get some more Kaleidacolor ink pads. I still have one more blank one, so I want to play around with a different color combination. I do want to get maybe some different inks to make my own, because right now I just have the 5 rainbow colors that I used, but these dye ink refills are really fabulous. So you get so much in one bottle. So I definitely want to pick up some more and play around with a different color combo and make some more of these tie-dyed backgrounds. The rest of the card is going to be pretty simple. I have this black panel that I've already splattered with some, I can't remember if this is just with white acrylic paint or if it's with maybe something that has a bit of shimmer to it. But I thought that I would use black because often when you have a very colorful background, black can actually make that color look even more vibrant. But I was looking at it and I thought, oh, the black it kind of takes a lot of the, I think it sort of sinks your eye a little bit too much. So I die cut a second time out of white. And I thought maybe I would use the white as a highlight beneath the black, but when I placed it on the card by itself, white just actually happened to look a lot better. So you never can tell, so it's always worth just doing a little bit of a dry fit or a little bit of an audition. But what I decided to do ultimately would still use the black, but use it as a shadow layer so that it feels a little bit more offset from the background and adds a bit more depth and dimension. And I think that's going to be it. You could definitely add a lot to this card, but I feel like the tie-dyed background is the star. And so I don't want to add too much. I don't want to cover it up too much. So finding these large sentiments, I think, is the like the perfect amount of focal image. And I think it's just so cool. I'm really excited that this worked out. I had the idea to do it in my head and I was, brainstorming about it, and it's so great to have an idea work on paper as well as it works in your head. I hope that you enjoyed these cards today, and I hope you give these tie-dye backgrounds a try. Thanks so much, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.